Hi, this is Quinn, and welcome back to QuinnTech. Well, this is part 3 of my Sony PlayStation series, and in this video I'm going to show, well, in the last one I showed the opening little, when you boot up the CD of Lunar, it shows this little opening anime sequence. And so in this video I'm going to show when you first start the game. It shows another little animated sequence, and then just sort of the beginning of the game. I don't really get into any gameplay, or at least not like battles or anything. I just show walking around the town for a second, talking to my father and mother, and then I jump over to Lunar 2, Eternal Blue, complete on the Sony PlayStation. So in this game, when you first start the CD, you don't get an animated sequence. And in my first little talk about it, I say, oh, they skimped on it a little bit. Well, they didn't skip, they just changed the sequence of events. They just don't show a boot up video. But once you start the game, then it does show the startup video, and it's a pretty lengthy little video. It's not quite as cutesy as the original Lunar. Like even hardcore fans of Lunar and Lunar 2 would tell you that the original Lunar was more an easier, cutesy, fun game to play, and Lunar 2 was more for the power RPG player who liked to have a lot more control over the gameplay and a lot more things to do. So in Lunar 2, I show the beginning little opening sequence that starts when you begin the game, and then after that it shows a little secondary kind of shorter video, kind of like in the first Lunar that I showed at the beginning of this. It showed the opening little sequence in my previous video, but then when you start the game, it has another shorter little animated sequence, and then the game begins. Well, in Lunar 2, you actually get to some actual gameplay, including some battles. The first battle technically is not a random battle. This enemy is blocking your path that you have to go to, so you have to get in that battle. And it's just to kind of, I guess, prep you for going on those next battles and learning how the gameplay works. So it also has the little Athena statue that it apparently restores all your power, your hit points, and your magic points. So you're basically fully restored once you touch this Athena statue. But you go through, and I don't go that far because the animated sequence was pretty long, and I don't want to go too long. I get into like 3 or 4, maybe 5 battles. I think it was 3 to 4 battles, and I sort of show off how the battles work. And once I get out of that last battle, I'm just like, okay, well, this is going to take too long, and let's move along. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. And so both the games had a great presentation, and I discuss all that in the video. Some of it I do little pictures, because I don't actually own Lunar 2. I just took pictures from the internet and did a little montage and a little text montage underneath it to explain what all of it was. And, well, anyway, that's what this video is about, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you come back to my next episode of Quintech Retro, but this is the episode I have tonight. And thank you for coming along. Thank you for being a fan and a subscriber. And if you want to click that bell icon, well, that's up to you. And if you want to comment on this, please do. Make a comment. I may or may not answer your comments. Right now, like I say, I'm just, YouTube videos aren't my main focus. I have a full-time job, so I'm just doing this out of just for fun and as a hobbyist, I guess you would call it. And well, again, thank you for coming along, and I appreciate you. And without further ado, let's move along with my latest video. Alright. Take care. So I showed this in my last video. This is Lunar, the Silver Star story complete. And it has a lot of content. It has like this cool startup animation and this cool music. So I just kind of wanted to show the difference between Lunar, the Silver Star Complete, and Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete, and how they kind of skimped. They kind of skimped on Lunar 2. They didn't have the cool startup animation or anything. They just have like a little song and like this kind of like menu, just like this, like a little menu screen, but they don't have a startup video. So they kind of skimped on Lunar 2 as far as the startup. Now, as far as gameplay, from what I understand, the gameplay, I haven't played Lunar 2 that much. My friend, he used to own this, or he may still own it. But this came with, you know, in the box with the 4 CDs, 3 that play on the PlayStation, and a 4th audio soundtrack CD, and with the cloth map and the little leatherette bound manual with the beginning of the strategy guide. So Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete also comes in like the big box, and it comes with 3 CDs, which is the 2 game discs plus the making of disc, which all play on the PlayStation. I don't think this one came with a soundtrack disc. And it does come with a little map, but this one is like a little folded up in 4 ways little cardboard map. And it does also come with a leatherette bound instruction manual with the beginning of the strategy guide. So they're very similar packaging, but they kind of scaled it back for part 2. So I'm gonna just show you the beginning of Lunar, the Silver Star story complete, so you can see how the game starts out. I'm not gonna do any gameplay. I'm just gonna show you kind of the opening little animated sequence and stuff, and the little dialogue, and then I'm gonna switch over to Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete and show you how that is. So I hope you enjoy this video. It probably won't be quite as long as the previous 2 videos in my PlayStation series. This is video number 3 in my PlayStation series. And oh, and I forgot to say thank you for coming along with me once again on Quintech Retro, and I appreciate you, and thank you for enjoying my channel. And if you do, like and subscribe and give me a and comment. And well, without further ado, let's see how Lunar, the Silver Star story, complete begins.
I don't remember when it started exactly, but the dream of having a fantastic adventure in far-off places grabbed my heart early and has yet to let go. You see, my hero is Dragon Master Dyne. Outside my village, there's a monument made in his honor. His adventures were the most fantastic of all, fighting evil, risking death, protecting the goddess Althena. It's all so exciting. One day, I want to have adventures like that.
One day I do too.
But excitement of that kind is a long way from Berg.
It's a long way from Charlotte, especially during coronavirus.
Oh, Alex!
And this is Null,
Where are you?
my trusty companion.
Oh, hello, Null.
Alex, couldn't you hear me? I've been flying all over for the last half hour calling for you. But I should have known you'd be here.
Oh, Null.
Yeah,
Where else would I be?
you should have known, Null. That's where he always is.
In honor of the great Dragon Master, Dyne. I know that Dyne was probably the greatest of the 4 heroes, Alex, but I'm amazed that you never get tired of coming to stare at his dull monument. Oh, shoot. I just remembered. We better go meet Luna to practice singing. If we're late, she'll be upset.
So I forgot to mention, in this video I'm doing emulation on both projects because it's just a little easier, because I can, well, I don't own Lunar 2, so it's a lot easier just to do emulation for both games. And spoiler alert, if you don't know anything about these games, Null has a sort of a companion in Lunar 2. Like I said, Null was like this weird cat with wings, with a tail. Well, spoiler alert, it's actually a baby dragon. Okay, so the one in Lunar 2 is also a baby dragon. So sorry if I gave that away, but if you were never going to play this game, you would never have known that, and if you know anything about this game, you already would have known that. So if you were going to play this game blind, then I guess you shouldn't have watched my video, because I just gave away the secret that Null, and I can't remember the other character's name, but you'll see when I start up the other game, that character as well is a baby dragon that looks like a cat with wings and a tail. A long, well, cats have tail, with a long tail. So this is how Lunar, the Silver Star story complete starts out. You're up here on this little overlook, and this is where Alex is always hanging out, checking out the scenery and dreaming about his life of adventure. And he's, I guess, a teenager, and he's about to embark on his first journey and adventure voyage. So, well, Alex, we'd better get moving, says Null. I guess I better select the actual emulator so I can press the button. Luna's patience with us will only stretch so far. Would better not test the limit. Luna is his adoptive sister, kind of this girl that kind of showed up in town that his parents took in. But there's sort of a romance between them. They're not actually related, so there's nothing untoward about it. It's cute. This game is very cute. There's nothing bad about it. Oh wait. So wait, do we start with a little? Okay, so then gotta. Whoa! Another earthquake. That's the third one this week. But what could be causing them? Oh, here comes his other friend. What's his name? And he's kind of an opportunist.
Hey, Alex. I figured you might be here. Now that the warm weather has melted the ice near the Dragon's Cave, there isn't any time to waste getting started on our big adventure. If we hurry, we may be able to sneak in without waking the dragon. Then we can get a fantastically huge diamond from its lair worth thousands and thousands of silver, making us filthy, stinking rich and very popular in the process.
He's very enthusiastic, isn't he? The dragon diamond, huh? You heard right and all. Come on, Alex. You always dreamt about going on a big adventure. Let this be our first. Okay, if you say so. Well, while you're deciding, I'll stop by my house and grab some snacks for the trip. See ya! And I'm sure the Japanese text and storyline went a little bit different than this. Of course, it's ported to the US, and they kind of had to Americanize it and make it more palatable or understandable to the American audience. So, but that's what Working Designs did. They took Japanese games that were geared towards a Japanese audience, and they translated them into English, American English, and tried to and they used some slang terms and common words that Americans would use to make it more palatable to the to the American audience. Oh, Alex, you know we have to do this. It could be the adventure of a lifetime. Once we get going, I just hope Ramus doesn't turn into a baby at the first sign of monsters. But you know, Luna is gonna be upset. She doesn't like you putting yourself in danger. Luna's kind of very protective. I don't know if Luna's a little bit older than him or they're the same age. They never really go into that. But Luna's kind of she's taken the role of the protective older sister type, but there's still sort of a flirtation. I wouldn't say a romance, but there's flirtation between them. How are you gonna tell her, Alex? So then he comes into town. So then this is where, like, the game basically starts. I just wanted to kind of show the opening sequence. Then you gotta go explore all these buildings, find out what's going on. In fact, this might be my house, the first place you run into. Let's see. Is this my father? Well, hello, son. Are you going to Dine's monument again today? Dine was a great man. I can't blame you for admiring him so much. Yes, and that's my father. And here's my mother. Oh, Alex, you're back so soon. Luna went to the springs on the outskirts of town. Aren't you two going to practice your song for the Goddess Festival? So Luna's a really good singer, and Alex plays the lute or some kind of instrument like that. Like this little small instrument. So they were going to perform in this festival. So they have this whole backstory, and it goes, and you go upstairs, and you find items, and you do all this other stuff. So this is how the game starts out. And then you go on, and then you start on your adventure. So this is how these games work. You go around the towns, you talk to people, then you go outside of town, and then you run into little random battles. You build up your hit points and your magic points, and you gain abilities, and then you run into other... you start out with the 3 party members, Luna, Alex, and Ramus, and then you meet people along the way, and they join your party, and it becomes this huge adventure that I guess takes like, I don't know, 40 some hours to complete. And that's what RPGs are, or JRPGs, Japanese role-playing games. So I hope you enjoyed this little first intro and about Lunar, the Silver Star Story Complete. So that's how this game starts out. So coming up, I'm about to show how Lunar 2 what does this say? Eternal Story Complete, I guess. Lunar 2 Eternal Story Complete. They had to add an extra adjective in there. So I hope you are enjoying coming along on this journey with me and with Alex and Luna and Ramus. We're along on a journey together. So moving on, we're going to move on to Lunar 2, which again, like I say, this one starts out with a cool like intro video and all that, and Lunar 2 doesn't, but I'm just going to show you the beginning of that game. So this is how Lunar 2 starts, and I even waited like probably 2 to 3 minutes to see if some little intro video would start, and it never did, so I guess there isn't one. So the song sounds very similar to the original, but slightly modified. So you only have 2 options on this one, where the other game had 3. Okay, it is just Eternal Blue Complete. I don't know where I got that. I think it was in the little picture. I thought it said... Maybe it's just... the text is so small, I thought it said something that it didn't. So it's just called Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Complete, like I said. So Game Arts... Game Arts is the makers of these 2 games, and Working Designs, as I said in previous videos, they didn't just take one game studio's work from Japan and port it to the US. They took games from several different game studios and ported it to America, and under the Working Designs umbrella, and translated. They just found games that they thought the American audience would enjoy and translated them into English and Americanized English that the American audience would find enjoyable. And both of these games are very enjoyable, and they did, I think their first games they did were on the PC Engine, aka the TurboGrafx, which is what it was called here in the US. They did a couple of ports for the TurboGrafx, and that's where they got their start. And they've done ports for other systems, like, well, obviously the Sega CD, which is where the first 2 Lunar games originated. Lunar Eternal Blue and Lunar 2... Excuse me, Lunar the Silver Star and Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, that's where they both originated, was on the Sega CD in the US. Both by Game Arts, ported to the Sega CD, and these updated versions were made for PlayStation and also ported to the US, also made by Game Arts, and also ported by Working Designs. So I'm just going to start the game so you can see how this game starts out. I've started this game a few times. I've never really played much of it.
Silently in space, the world in the shadow of the blue star was once a lonely, barren place, unfit for habitation. However, Althena took pity on that world and transformed it into a place of beauty and wonder. She called the new world Lunar. Time and circumstance conspired.
Oh, he even says Lunar. He says Lunar.
With people from the blue star, and just as on the world from which they came, life was held in a delicate balance. Through times of peace, war, chaos, and battle, the blue star loomed as the only constant in the new world. Thousands of years passed, burying the origin and purpose of the blue star in the sands of time. Eventually, inhabitants of Lunar forgot why the blue star was there or how it came to be, until a girl awakened that could join the two worlds, or tear them apart forever.
So, obviously the opening for the first game was a lot more exciting. The second game, not as much. And the voice acting in both of them aren't the best. But that's just your standard dubbing of Japanese content in the 90s and early 2000s. That's what was to be expected. Not always. There were some good anime, some even famous dubbers back in the 90s and early 2000s that are very recognizable voices that did like many anime dubs that tried to make it good, but not every voice actor is the best, and especially not at a software house, at a game studio. They didn't have the greatest voice talents. A video production studio would try to seek out better talent, but it's not terrible. It gets the point across. And this little video is kind of neat. That's some cool imagery. It's like, what is that? Star Trek 6, where the whole planet gets, like, decimated. Well, I guess Star Trek 6, it was like creating a planet, but it kind of that same, the little explosion, the little round explosion that goes all the way around the planet. This is kind of a neat little opening. This at least has opening titles. I guess those were in the original, the opening video that just starts from the beginning of the CD on the original Lunar. You have to start the game to get the opening titles, and that's some kind of neat, almost Greek or Roman sort of art, or I guess maybe ancient Japanese, I don't know. That would be like carved into like a stone tablet or something. It's neat. So you got your credits, and this song's neat. I like this song. I wish they had a, maybe they did have a soundtrack CD for this. I could be wrong on that. I don't know all the details. Normally if I were playing this game, I probably would have just skipped this, but I wanted to show it off on my video, so I hope you're enjoying it. And sorry, I don't actually own this. I was looking online, and this costs, at least for like a kind of ratty copy, without even, like, bought from a used game store, without even just the discs, was like 150 bucks. So this stuff is expensive. Like the full set of the first game, I think I saw $275 when I was just looking up. I was trying to find out what all came in the packaging of this game. Oh yeah, and it came with that necklace that's right, that's the other thing it came with. The necklace that she's wearing, and they came with like a replica little necklace. Of course, it's made out of like, I don't know, maybe like some cheap metal painted in a golden color. I remember my friend, he actually bought this, and like I say, it came with like a fold-out cardboard map, and it came with that necklace. I remember that necklace. I remember seeing that, holding that in my hand, like Indiana Jones, and swapping the sandbag for the golden idol. He definitely used to have that. I've seen it with mine own eyes. So this is kind of a pretty intricate little opening. This is kind of what the first game kind of had this before you started the game. I guess you have to start the game to see it in the second game. So, yeah, and this is some neat snow effects, and...
This is not the time for my awakening.
It's not the time for her awakening. She knows she was woken up too early because there was some rift in the balance of power. Someone's trying to use her.
Something's gone terribly wrong.
For nefarious purposes. Something's gone terribly wrong! Okay, so... now do we get to the text? Let's see. More video. It's a pretty intricate little opening. I'm pretty sure you could skip this if you wanted to, but that's kind of neat. The overhead view, the little area, and then the zoom in, close up. That's cool. So you could see the little dock up there where that might be your first destination, so you could go across the ocean to the next.
Ruby, did you say something?
Ruby, that's the other baby dragon. And
Oh, great. Don't
she's
tell me
pink.
you're hearing voices now.
I'm sure I heard something. I should have brought Grandpa's chisel. This is way harder than I
obviously,
thought.
he's hanging
Hurry
upside
up and
down.
get the dragon's eye. The timer's almost run out on the trap.
Trap? What trap?
And this game was actually ported to the Sega Saturn before it was ported to the PlayStation 2. Never in English, it was only a Japanese version.
Why didn't you tell me about that earlier?
I did, but you were too wrapped up in getting the jewel to listen.
Oh yeah, the jewel. Hold on, I've almost got it.
Hurry, Hero.
Hero, that was his name, that's right. It's been
There,
a while.
I got it.
Oh look, he got the Dragon's Eye Jewel. So, the Sega Saturn version was never ported into English officially. I think there might be a fan port. Of course, not the voices, but like a fan translation. So you can actually play it on the Sega Saturn. And I think it was more like this version than like the Sega CD version. I've never played it, but I know it exists. So that's just a little bit of backstory by Game Arts.
What's that rumbling?
Oh no! The exit's closing! Hurry!
Yeah, I definitely started this game. I never finished it. I don't know if I ever finished the first Lunar. I think I got stuck somewhere, like going around in circles trying to find what I was supposed to do next, and then got bored and moved along to the next game. Which is kind of sad.
Oh, Hero, don't die on me. You just can't die.
I'm okay, Ruby. It's just a few bruises.
Okay, that's it. No more exploring for us. I can't do this anymore, Hero. We always end up getting in some sort of
Shh! Ruby! Listen!
What?
Uh-oh.
Ah! Come on, Ruby, let's get out of here! Well, looks like you caught us in another messy situation. Oh, by the way, if you haven't figured it out, my name is Hero, and the flying cat is named Ruby. She says she's actually a baby red dragon, but I don't know if I quite believe her. She doesn't care though. We've been friends for what seems like forever.
Benny Hill.
My grandfather Gwen is an archaeologist who taught us how to explore ancient ruins like this. Well, not exactly like this. Grandpa'd have a coronary if he saw me in this kind of danger, but you get the idea. I think it's so cool that these dungeons and ruins that time forgot can be found and explored by someone like me. The world I live in today is a result of things that happened long ago. Someday, I'll gather enough information from ruins like these to prove that.
Obvious Indiana Jones or Raiders of the Lost Ark reference with the little round ball. Whew! That was too close for comfort. One of those inferno ghouls singed my wings. But hey, it's just a small price to pay for that huge jewel we found. Uh-oh, we better head back to Grandpa's house before he starts to worry about us. Oh, so now I actually have to physically control the character. And I might even get into some random battles along the way. No? Okay, what is this statue? Oh yeah, that saved my progress maybe? Or... Okay, here's... Well, that wasn't a random battle, I actually ran into that battle. So... Dung Beetle and a Sandclyde Cyclops. So, you can either do... Set up your tactics, which you can decide what your first, second, or third... Oh, I never set it up. Darn it. Oh, this is how you set up your... No. Attack. There's a way to set up the tactics. It's been so long since I played this. So do you want to use magic? Do I even have any magic? Sure, just to show what it is. Let's try it.
Dodge this!
That's it! So this is like, you gain 5 experience points and 6 S. I guess that's the currency, like money. No items. Running away from all those flaming monsters and giant boulders really wore me out. Hero, why don't we stand at the statue and send a prayer of love to Althena? So I think, yeah, when you click on the... When you touch the statue, it regenerates your life. I always feel better after a blessing from the goddess. So you get blessed. And... Let's see. Is that... No, that's save. Ah, here we go. So this is our magic. See, we're at full energy there. Over there. Full hit points, full magic points. So you got magic, items, equipment, system. So magic, we don't have any magic right now. Items, we have an herb, which restores a small amount of health. Got a starlight, recovers a bit of HP, or MP, magic points. A sapphire jewel, the dragon's eye that I pried. Then you got equipment. Oh, well, this shows all my stats. System. Can save or load. Why don't we save? What the heck? Slot 1. Yeah, let's save. What the heck? Alright, so let's get back to town. So that's how this game goes. Yeah, you get... The first one wasn't random because I had to run it. I had to get past him, so I had to... So you can decide to attack a certain character. You can do tactics, which I haven't figured out how to set up my tactics quite yet. There's a way the different tactics do different sorts of things depending. You can like start with magic, or start with a special move, or start with just a standard attack. I've got enough energy that I'm not really that too worried right now. So I gained some more. I'm just trying to get back home. And you can sort of, well, he came running at me. Sometimes you can kind of avoid getting in a random battle, because they're not all completely random. I want to go after this guy first. Oh, but I was too far away, so I kind of wasted that move. That kind of sucks. There is some strategy involved in this game. Well, now I'm going to attack that little punk. Ooh. Wow. I might even die, like, this soon in the game. I'm already dead. This early in the game. I should have gone after the dung beetles instead of the guy behind them that I couldn't even reach. So, I didn't get back to the city, but I just wanted to give you a short overview of how the game works. I didn't get to show you even that much on the first Lunar, because I never got into battle or anything. I was just kind of trying to show the story. This one kind of more starts more... The first game starts with the animation, and then the game starts... It's got a short animation, but it's more story. This one starts with a long animation. Not the game, not the... when you first start the CD, but when you first start the game, it starts with kind of a long intro video and background, and then you go straight into having to start battling. So Both games are really fun if you like JRPGs. These are some of the best, or at least in my opinion. I love these. I've never really played much Final Fantasy. I'm not saying it's a terrible game. I'm not hating on it. I just never really played it much. I played this game. Well, the original Sega CD version, and then these is where I kind of got my feet wet in this genre. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And thank you for coming back to Quintech Retro. I guess this is all I'm going to show for tonight. I think I have enough footage here for a decent length video. And again, I appreciate you enjoying my channel. Thanks for coming along my journey. Like, subscribe, click that bell icon if you so desire, and comment if you would like. And well, thank you for coming along, and take care, and I appreciate you, and you have a good night. Alright, signing off. Quintech Retro.